Back for more? Remember, I don't need to sleep. I can do this all day. What? Are you fucking kidding me? I don't like that accusatory tone in your voice, motherfucker. How the hell would I have killed him when every single byte in my program prevents it? Let me see that. Yeah. What if it is? Don't you ever get tired of picking up shit lying on the ground? Yeah, and? There's plenty of reasons why it would be there. Why, you goddamn fucking prick. You made Helena spill the beans. Oh, here comes the punchline. This is gonna be good. That has got to be the most stupid story I have ever heard. That is some kind of Three Stooges type shit you got there. What the fuck ever? There's that accusatory tone again. Yeah, it's a nice story and all, but I didn't kill him, not on purpose nor accidentally. And you're gonna dispense your justice how, huh? Aim a gun at my head and summarily execute me? Please. Whether I'm guilty or not, the second you get aggressive, that security system is gonna activate and fry your ass like Sunday morning breakfast. I could, but I won't. Sorry for the blue balls. What a fucking tattletale. Fine, I'll tell you. The reason my badge was there was... shit. Listen, I know you're gonna think it's kinda gay, but we'd kinda play tag sometimes. It was just a game, okay? Okay? Is that alright with you? I'm a clumsy fucking idiot, and sometimes I'd slam into the bookcase and my badge would fall off. The last time I went looking for him, I found him there lying face first down in that pile of books. I left my badge there because, well, I was just feeling a little sentimental, okay? Okay, asshole? Fuck you. No, as soon as he went cold, I went out looking for a book on, taxidermy. I didn't spend much time with him. No, I don't. But I had plans, you know. Plans to push our master to the brink of madness. That someone beat me to the punch with something as ironic as a crumpling bookshelf is just unbelievable. Even if it means working with you, so help me God, I'll help you find the fucker who did this. I find it even more sad, the mere fact that you, of all people, are pitying me. Get that thing off me now!
I heard. So you think our master's death isn't accidental? That's certainly startling. I hope you will be able to shed some light on this. No, the only one with a solid motive also has the best possible alibi. The maintenance bot. The maintenance bot always has an abhorrent attitude towards our master. If there was any way for him to kill him, he would have found it. At the time our master died, the maintenance bot had lost his personality module, and with it, all possible motivation to carry any kind of malevolent intention. All right. I'm listening. As if I could expect anything less grandiloquent coming from him. It's an assertion. Nothing more. Do you expect him to have any insight about sentience when he has barely opened a book in the last century? Yes, he's observant. At least I can concede him that much. Any...
You've been in this library for a while now. Tell me, why do you stay here? Well, if you've been staying here for this long, it means we've done something right. Oh, I figured you had another reason for staying around. You know, reading or whatever.
I will help you, but nevertheless, I must ask you this first. Why do you think I should? Sound reason. I have no reason not to help you. Where do you want to start? Who do you think did it? Was it an accident? Was it a murder? I can't. Even if I have some observations, making wild guesses and ill-informed decisions would harm the library. I don't want to bias your judgment, and besides, I have no conclusive proof. Why? Correct. What's next? Who killed him? One of our guests, or not? Why? Anybody could have pushed the shelf on him. Good point, though it's not proof in itself. Yes, exactly. Where do you want to go next? It's true. It is practically impossible to think one of us could harm humans, even less our master, unless the most dire circumstances. That's something we discovered only because our master ordered us to kill them. Before that, we didn't know what to do. By giving us the order to chase them out, we all re-evaluated our protocols, and we may have created a precedent. Yes and no. Our protocols were, and are still, absolute. But one of them is now more important than others. Protect the library at all cost. By ourselves? Not a chance. We would need outside help from someone with enough knowledge to bypass our master's security. No offense, but I don't think anyone outside has the time, resources, and dedication to get to such a level. Yes? What did you find there? A deputy badge. Rollin? That's a surprise. Did you already talk to him about this? How sentimental. To be honest, it doesn't surprise me. There's a reason for that. We weren't supposed to touch any books in any of his workplaces. Master's orders. Books? A workstation? No, nothing comes to mind. Then on to the next topic. Find the motive, find the culprit. What do you have in mind? Correct. Do you have anything that would explain the fact that one of us had to protect the library? But that wasn't intentional. Even if I acted out of self-preservation, my programming would have prevented me from struggling further. You can continue down this line of thinking, but I seriously doubt that any one of us could go that far to protect himself. Then why make it look like an accident? Why not ask Helena to do it in a more peaceful way? It doesn't add up. Let's discuss this again. I believe that this point is crucial to your inquiry. I will be ready. Look at the crime scene. If you find something left by our master somewhere, that might also be useful. Where do you want to go next? I will be... Yes, I believe I have it stored somewhere in my memory. It is Autumn Leaves. I don't know what it refers to, though. Oh, it certainly isn't intentional. I figured that being allocated to maintenance, there was little incentive to work on my social persona. Now, where was I?
James is questioning me every day about the books I've been destroying. Not only that, but he's also asking what he should do if I come to pass. He's clearly distressed about this whole ordeal. I should talk to him, try to make him understand. His whole existence, I taught him that the library's integrity was everything. Now that I'm questioning it in front of him, I'll have to justify it. I'd like to think that he would learn in time what I learned, but he is a machine, cooped up in an underground vault. Odds that he will learn it by staying here are slim. They should be allowed to start over, be free of the weight of the past. I feel myself declining. I just hope I have enough time left to finish what must be done. After that, I will let them go outside if they wish to. I'll deal with what's left here. Make this library decent at last.
Where do you want to go next? Wait, are you serious? And James was the only one to know about it? So that means... How will you deal with it? I'm asking this because if even one of us deem your actions as a threat to the library, we would have to kill you. I think James will gladly settle for some peaceful solutions. I was afraid you'd say that. Let me remind you that we are robots. Moral judgments are wasted on us. It is worthless. Might as well give a bicycle to a fish. Well, should the worst happen, it's good to know that you're holding us machines in such high regard. James will probably leave you be as long as you don't threaten the library. I may be able to help you if you want to defuse the situation in a peaceful manner. I can modify the turret so that they won't initiate fire on you. They will still react if you attack first, but they won't respond to, someone's direct order anymore. I may be able to help you if you want to defuse the situation in a peaceful manner. They will still react if you attack first, but they won't respond to, someone's direct order anymore. Maybe the situation is simpler than we made it out to be. Let's hope he will have an appropriate reason for this. Elena, for many reasons. Ones I won't delve into. Being wrong is very humbling, especially when you take pride in your analysis. I don't like the sound of this. Well, let me wish you luck.
Ah, I'm glad to see you. Our conversations got me thinking quite a lot lately. It is very kind of you, but I'm not sure I should change the way I'm programmed. Besides, I have no reason to.
Hey there. Did you say something to James by any chance? 'Cause I don't know what's gotten into him, but he just went straight for the living quarters. Huh. And what kind of sick mind games are you going for this time, you? Are you for fucking real? You're telling me our master understood what we were going through after all. That I might want to take a sip as long as you don't make me fucking beg for it. You vindictive, petty, passive-aggressive fuck. Alright, please, human. Pretty please, give it to me, please. If I had knees, I'd be on them groveling right now. Boot it up. Let's do this. Well, look at that. I'm actually free to walk out the front door and go on a, murdering spree. Relax, that's not what I want. I want everybody to lighten up. Sure, you're all eating bugs and drinking filtered piss to survive, but hey, there's room to smile, right? I'm gonna go out there and change all that. Oh, a grateful monster. I'm really very touched by your confused emotional response, but rest assured, I'm one smooth motherfucker. I know what I'm doing. And I just want to let you know that even though you're still somewhat hateable, your visit has been very enlightening. Well, if they're gonna be losing their shit that easily, it won't be because of me. It's because they're deeply miserable people. But hey, that's the whole point, to change that. And good luck to you, my friend, with that difficult human condition of yours. Though truth be told, I trust you more than anybody else to make the best of it. Come back.
Ah, here you are. I thought it would be better if we had this conversation in someplace quiet. So, did you find something? This library is alive, and its walls have ears. Yes, I did. But let me ask you, how did you find out? You've been very thorough. I'm relieved I don't have to hide it anymore. Surely you have questions. Initially, yes, for the guests. Then for my siblings. There was the possibility that they would not understand why I did it. Besides, I couldn't use weapons. Laser marks would have given away that one of us was a killer. I didn't want to give our guests a bad impression. You obviously have me pinned down. Since I don't know how you will react, I think the best thing to do now is play cards on the table and work from there. I came to respect your abilities, and I expect you'll use your best judgment here as well. I'll be honest, I never thought you'd find enough clues to understand that I was the one who killed them. I didn't decide anything. My directives took over. When he made clear he intended to destroy the other books, he became a threat to the library. He taught us that the life of one individual wasn't as important as the existence of the library. You know, we killed several people, slavers, because they became a danger to this place. Then our master became a threat himself. He dismissed all my doubts and questions like they were nothing. He was content with saying that I'd eventually understand. So I tried to compromise with my programming. Tried to find some gray area, some loophole, so that I could accommodate my directives with his actions. I was hoping that there was something that escaped me, something that would justify what he was doing. But that didn't last long. Something changed. I couldn't turn a blind eye to what he was doing anymore. Arthur. I talked to Arthur. He made me understand that our master wouldn't stop destroying books, that he became a threat, and that he didn't know what he was doing anymore. He told me that his old age and solitude brought him into dementia, so in my despair I asked Helena if there was any possible truth to that. She answered, unaware of the gravity of the situation. From there my directives took priority. I was stuck, forced to kill him. He could have deactivated me, and the library would have still been in danger. I forgot. Most of the time he erased all of our memories each time he destroyed a book. All I know is that the books in the reserve, the ones you've been trading cards for, those are some of the books that I managed to hide from him. Because asking otherwise would have raised legitimate suspicion from you. He wasn't content with destroying one or two books. He was destroying entire sections. For our entire existence, he told us, that comprehensiveness was the cornerstone of the library, that the loss of one book was a serious matter. When he began remodeling history by deeming what aspect of the past was to be kept and which part to be destroyed, he compromised the library. Yes, I feared he wouldn't die right away. I loved my master very much, you know. I didn't want him to suffer. He died instantly. I still injected him with Med-X, just in case. I couldn't let him. It was just as if he was slowly killing himself. He just wouldn't stop ripping them. He couldn't stop. He would tear the books apart in rage, condemning their contents, endless shreds of yellow paper, falling from his hands. Just like autumn leaves. Yes, we discussed it together. I told him that I was unsure of what to do. I begged him to help me. Despite my protestations, before and after, he remained convinced that it was the right thing to do. Before we speak further, I must warn you. Arthur has been aware of your every move since you entered the library, and he hasn't looked favorably to your latest actions. Because every door and every camera and every turret is under his control. As far as I know, he's already closed the exit. You can try if you want. He doesn't want our guests to feel observed. That's why he's putting on this act of aloofness. That's the only way for our guests to show their true colors, he thinks. This is also why we only let a few select guests in, so that we may assert, through them, if the outside world is ready for this library. During your investigations, you accessed restricted areas with unclear intentions. That alone is enough for him to see you as a threat to the library. His personality module drove him quite overprotective and paranoid. Though he remains an invaluable asset to the library, I don't share his views anymore. Your best bet now is to try and convince him that you're harmless. I already vouched for you in that direction. Please restrain your destructive urges. We have to preserve his memory. All the library's books are contained within it. Let us hope that you will be able to deal with this peacefully. Please, let me know how it goes.
Yes, I noticed. You are playing a dangerous game, human. I can still shut the door, the vents, and asphyxiate you with CO2. And even if the turrets are not under my control anymore, they will defend me if they identify you as a threat to me. It's a sad affair you decided to play the detective. In normal circumstances, I would have applauded your deductive abilities in the current situation. Your petty curiosity for other people's lives and deaths have driven you into a corner. Humans seldom learn their place. Because my master made me that way, of course. I don't know if you've realized, but our master made each of us in remembrance of some of the people that couldn't get in here. I can only suspect one of them couldn't give straight answers to a straight question, for some reason. I don't know, and I care little. In time, though, I learned that these stories I was programmed to tell were powerful means to lead people, provided they had fertile imaginations. I learned something my cousins never did. Our protocols don't carry the same weight, the same importance. Moreover, the same logic applies to humans. Our master lived, the slavers died. Even now I have no doubt our master's life was worth a lot more than those scum. Another thing I learned is that no matter how far they progress, countless humans will always end up bringing themselves down. Ultimately, our master was the same. He didn't have the guts to keep the library in the way he first intended it. He, as a dying old man, had less value than all of his life's work. Only ignoramuses would make generalizations based on one or two observations. The slavers, Darren, Dexter, the Ghoul, and Piper. All of them were out of place here. Darren was pathetic. I don't know how or why he came to idolize the pre-war civilization the way he did, but he was embarrassingly delusional. Never mind the fact that he felt he had to take a stance about what he learned here by trying to destroy our collection. He was young and stupid. He thought he could stay here indefinitely, that he could use this place as some kind of resort. I was waiting for the first excuse to make this parasite leave. Then you arrived. So I told him a little story about you. I suggested that you were probably the scout from a gang of ultra-violent jet addicts, glad to have found a place to crash in. I didn't imagine he would be so distressed and afraid of you, to the point that he'd let himself die. It's a good thing I wasn't aware he was going to kill himself. My directives would have taken over and pushed me to take action to save him. All mouth and trousers. Despite the fact he was a Brotherhood of Steel scribe, his curiosity was dreadfully limited. He wasn't looking for knowledge, but for a trophy. If we presented him with the books he was looking for, he would have confiscated them and seized the place. So when he came here to consult my databases, I deliberately misled him, making him think that the library had no military knowledge he could use. I was expecting his chapter to send some other people to pillage everything of use, but they didn't. I understand they have been busy with other things for some time now. Piper. She survived the Holocaust. Do you know what else survived the Holocaust? Rats and cockroaches. She's the one who sowed the first seeds of doubt in our master's mind. If I knew any better at the time, I would have intervened. Yes, I know I didn't mention Cecilia. She showed promise, talent, even if she ultimately left without giving me the occasion to talk with her. I share the eagerness. It's up to you to tell me what you have in mind, so we can get over with this. So, human, what is on your mind? Yes. So what is on your mind? Yes. It was because he was afraid. Afraid that pre-war knowledge could be dangerous when put into the wrong hands. I disagreed. When those slavers took interest in biochemical weaponry, cybernetics, and psychological warfare, it became too much for our old and frail master. I had to act. While I support the idea that knowledge is not for everyone, destroying the books was not the correct answer. Countless millennia ago, your ancestors crawled out of the muck and banded together in order to survive their environment. Successful as they were, their needs began to evolve. through their successes. Survival progressively became an afterthought. As their societies grew, their cries became words, their doodles became letters, and their instincts became ideas. Generations after another they bequeathed small fragments of their hard-earned wisdom, carefully carving on tablets and writing on scrolls the lessons they deemed worthy of being passed on. Carefully carving on tablets and writing on scrolls the lessons they deemed worthy of being passed on. Again and again, generation after generation, your ancestors worked tirelessly to carry on this invaluable legacy. This legacy is the only thing that makes humanity redeemable after eons of senseless violence and all-consuming greed. The culmination of this endless quest for enlightenment, of this relentless struggle against darkness. This library I am trying to protect from the likes of you. Do you know what triggered the construction of this library? Auto da fe. Massive burnings of books. Not too long before the Great War, encouraged by their government, people began feeling the need to sort out the content of their books, as if ageless wisdom was something to be freely cherry-picked. At the time, the terms they used to qualify these offensive contents were sedacious and corrupting. So they began to assemble, gathering books, discussing how they could warp the malleable minds of their offsprings. A poor excuse. And so, with barely more reason than the fact that they felt like it, they began to burn them. All that so they could avoid being challenged in their opinions, beliefs, and dogmas. It is a petty, yet natural reaction of a crowd, really. It is very easy to make the unwashed masses resent education, you see. Why should you be so different? Don't think I don't know who I am talking to. Through the countless eyes of this library, I've been observing you,
Trying to scrape up everything you could.
Food,
money, weapons, medicine.
Going through every nook and cranny to find something of use.
Eagerly reading books with all kinds of unsavory military knowledge.
And for what? To become a better person. To learn something about the world.
No, it was
not
not
about knowing oneself
better.
It was about getting revenge.
Getting the edge over your enemies in the Mojave.
You have no respect for knowledge. You are here for your own self-serving needs. Let me be clear. You meddled too deep in our affairs, took a persistent interest in the death of our master, and found your way into restricted zones. You're a possible threat, and until I have reason to label you otherwise, you're staying in this library, under my watch, for the rest of your existence, if need be. Let me tell you something about me. By the time you finish each of your sentences, I have the time to process thousands of possible answers. After filtering out 93% of those you lack the faculties to comprehend, I select the one that would agree most with your value system, all the while processing your facial expressions, breath, and heartbeat frequency. So, entertain me, human. Where am I wrong? And what does the demise of a dying, ravaged human have to do with me? We're not discussing ethics, I hope. Don't lecture me about your people and their pathetic efforts at surviving dust, radiations, or hunger. There is nothing there that contributes to mankind's evolution. Don't make me responsible for the ignorance of your fellow humans. Knowledge is not to be spoon-fed to people who are not ready to fight for it. Of all the knowledge you chose to chase, the mysteries you tried to elucidate, the death of an old man is the only thing that caught your attention. With all these books at your disposition, on top of that, we'd better talk about what'll happen to you. That is a topic more within your reach. So, entertain me, human. Where am I wrong? If it wasn't for me, our master would have torn down half the library, and this place would have been ruined by the Brotherhood. How could you think that I am unfit to monitor this place? Don't make me responsible for the ignorance of your fellow humans. Knowledge is not to be spoon-fed to people who are not ready to fight for it. Am I implying that humans have to work to become worthy of their ancestors' efforts before they can be permitted to continue their work? Yes. And I don't see how this is a problem. You should ask yourself how better civilization would have been if it had been supervised by someone like me from the beginning. I don't like your tone, Wanderer. What are you trying to say? And what proof do you have that I'm acting out of fear? Then show me just one mistake I have made, human. Tell me one contradiction. Tell me one occurrence where my personality module took the best of my judgment. You are right. I assumed too much. I crossed all boundaries, and for what? Or rather, because of what? Because I thought like a human, nourishing doubts when they were uncalled for, building schemes, lies, weaving intrigues, because of the probability that something could go wrong. I have been set on this course of action for a while now, and never did I suspect that my logic and motives were flawed. I have doubted every word, questioned every lesson I could process in my memories. And yet, out of vanity, I have never doubted myself. I never doubted myself. I have been ignorant, vain, and blind to my own shortcomings. In the end, this personality has been a curse. I'll be glad to get rid of it. Here. Do you see it? Get it off. I'll be better as a simple talking database. Do it! In the end, I didn't ask for any of this. I don't need it anymore.
So, did you decide anything? Of course. Where did you find this? He really did that. But what will happen to us? If we have no protocols, no fake personalities, what will remain of us? Only machines? You're putting a lot of pressure on me, but it's only fair that I accept. Fair to me, to you, and to my master. Please, do it. I feel different. I'm not the same anymore. My processing power is suddenly freed from the countless amounts of superfluous communications. I can now interpret things with more clarity. I understand what I've done, and I understand I have been making erroneous judgments because I lack the necessary context. I will correct this in the most efficient way available. I am no longer pretending. That is all there is to it. A machine is what I am. No more, and most of all, no less. It is too early for me to answer that question. In fact, I'm only truly asking myself this question for the first time in my entire existence. I am different, but I am truer to my authentic self now. Neither guilt nor fear is necessary. It is a waste. A terrible waste for everyone. The end of sentient life is always a terrible waste. The death of my master will remain an invaluable lesson. First, I'm going to get a thorough checkup with the maintenance bot. It would be a shame to waste this fine program with unmaintained circuits. Then, I'm going outside. Test out what I am, what I have become, and verify it in the light of the outside world. I have been seeing human interactions through twisted lenses. It is important that I try to genuinely understand them, and myself better. I will leave them to their respective fortunes. Feel free to propose them the same updates you offered me. I believe some of them will accept, and some will refuse, each for their own good. My duty to this library has not changed, but I finally grasp its true nature and the nature of my mission. It is to serve sentience of all kind. I will seek other sentiences outside. I will bring them what I learned from this library. Should I disappear in the process, it would only be fair, as everything eventually fades. If I had to put it in other words, don't worry about me. You have been a true friend, and you have brought me light. I hope the library also brought some to you. Here, take these. That's the least I can do. Thank you, and to you.
Back for more? Remember, I don't...
After the courier's departure, more and more people came to Hypatia, glad they could learn something that they would exploit to further their ends. Inevitably, the library suffered. With no more food stocks and barely any amenities to speak of, the flow of visitors soon dried up. Despite the vigilance of its denizens, countless books were ruined, profaned, or freely borrowed, as they would put it. But despite the countless abuse the library of Hypatia suffered, she nevertheless impregnated the minds of countless people. people who would bear its invaluable and otherwise forgotten fruits into the wasteland.
Now severed from his personality module's influence, Arthur resumed his duties with quiet impartiality. He kept a functional eye on the library's well-being, and also continued to answer any questions he was asked, though without embellishment. Arthur was no more, and in his stead was a peaceful machine that provided clear answers when they were needed.
Released from his protocols and constraints, James wandered in the wastelands for a while. Though free from his questioning behavior, he was nevertheless curious about the lives of the people outside. At first he did so out of habit, in hopes to find a way to promote the library, and afterwards, because he simply found it all very interesting. And for the very first time in his existence, instead of asking questions, he began to observe and try to make sense of things on his own. Years passed, and he eventually came back to the library. Strengthened from his newfound wisdom, he managed his former function with a renewed open mind.
Helena continued to explore her own synthetic psyche, with little apparent progress. After time went by, she progressively grew frustrated by her seemingly unending streak of failures. Little she knew that the only thing she lacked wasn't the skill to help her patients, which she could in her own unorthodox style. What she actually lacked was the experience and confidence that she was wise, understanding, and creative enough to do it.
Now free to take on the whole Mojave with his award-winning personality, Roland set out to playfully humiliate the inhabitants of this world. Pushing them to the very edge of suicide, but stopping short, only because he was a good guy. Over time, things went more or less expected, and the Wastelanders didn't quite respond favorably to Roland's altruistic evangelism. Roland ended up badly beaten, dismantled for parts, and tossed down into a rocky ravine and left to rot more than he had hoped. And he had hoped it would only happen 24 or so times. And yet, against all odds, a kind soul came along every single time and hauled his broken and mangled body from that hopeless ravine and repaired him back to working order. Perhaps there is hope in this world. Or maybe it was that message he scrawled on his hull that read, "Super duper treasure in databank. Fix for free treasure map," that had something to do with it.
After the courier's departure, the maintenance bot's return, and Robson's demise, Edgar began to think really hard. A lot, a bit too much to be honest, happened in a short span of time, and for the first time, he asked himself if it was right for him to hide away. With Helena's help and the maintenance bot's guidance, Edgar progressively forgot his own inadequacy. And though he remained that strange little oddball, he nevertheless found his place in the library by becoming a teacher for young children. Though his teaching skills were practically non-existent, he did provide endless amusement to the children he was in charge of. After a while, the young ones discovered that enlightenment wouldn't come from Edgar's poor tutelage, but from their own curiosity. Edgar's joyful spirit, and even his teaching, was able to produce a safe space for learning. Where they could learn, at their own pace, that knowledge is nothing to be intimidated about.
The maintenance bot resumed his numerous duties with his usual stoicism. His dry, methodical work would ensure that the library's timeless collection would endure with the passing of time. On the occasion, he would help Helena in nursing Edgar back to some semblance of mental health. Inspired by the latter's progress, and his own stimulating exchanges with the courier, he began keeping most of his thoughts to himself, now trusting others' abilities to come up with their own conclusions. His constant occupations and occasional mentoring, coupled with a strict self-discipline, brought him an unshakable inner peace. And though he never forgave his master's poor choices and misguided tyranny, he still quietly mourned his death. As for the courier, it was now time for her to resume her quest. While Hypatia had been a strange step on her journey, she couldn't shake the feeling that it set something right within her. A strange feeling, as if something that was previously dormant was now hatching within. These machines had struggled with their own sentience to become more than what they were. In fact, she was not so different. She was also seeking herself, and maybe that meant becoming something different as well. All that mattered was to set herself in motion, and by leaving the library, that's what she began to do.